Yeah, he survived the Facebook outage.
Facebook outage.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We're going to call the meeting to order. Again, if you wish to speak tonight, we do ask that you fill out a form. There are forms located out in the lobby. Fill that out, tear off the bottom part, and then give it to Mandy, who's sitting up here at the desk, if you could. So, and need to do that in the next few minutes if you're interested, so we can make sure to get your form up here. So, thank you. Go ahead.
First item on the agenda, the spotlight this evening is Rossville Wrestling. Rossville Wrestling has had an outstanding program this year. I have Thomas Lynch here this evening as the coach to speak a little bit more about the season. I had an opportunity to travel to Evansville, Indiana for the state tournament, and it is an awesome experience if you have a chance to go. It moved to Evansville this year because of basketball in Indianapolis. So.
All right, I'm going to read this off my phone, so it might be a little rough, but we started off the season with over 20 athletes for the first time in a very long time, maybe ever. The majority of the team consisted of underclassmen, as we only had 4 juniors and no seniors this year. There were some tough injuries early, some growing pains, but they kept working pretty hard. We started to hit our stride after the first semester. Coaches are always worried about academics and making sure all their athletes are eligible in the second semester. We always start the preseason, every meeting, every week, checking academics. That's our biggest thing. We had everybody eligible, which is good. We had 12 honor roll students, and we had 3 academic all-states. Dylan Lynch was second team all-state. Jacob Moss was first team, and Noah Weaver was first team all-state academically. Okay. That's a reason too. Something that I think a lot of people don't understand. When you emphasize academics as much as we do, it is really hard to get to the top there. And we are currently number 1 in the state of Indiana with a team GPA of 3.47. That's the entire state. That was from the Indiana High School Wrestling Coaches Association. That number would have beat last year's top team. They're still calculating this year, but as of right now, we're the top team, so very, very cool. Hornet Wrestlers also were really successful on the mat. For the first time since 2002, we had a winning record of 16-14. The team also won conference outright. We had 4 conference champions: Donovan Story, Jacob Weaver, Jacob Cole, and Noah Weaver. And Dylan Lynch was runner-up. We had a little bit of success in the state tournament. Jacob and Noah both entered the state tournament undefeated. They both won sectionals. Jacob Cole got second in sectionals. Regionals was much the same. Noah won regionals. Jacob was upset in regionals. And Jacob Cole got second. So Jacob Weaver got second as well. Semi-state, Jacob Cole was 2 matches away from going to state. Jacob Weaver was 1 match away from going to state. He got sick. He's going to have a big bounce back year next year. We're really excited for that. Noah ended up winning semi-state for the first time since I did in 2002. So that's pretty cool. We had our own little club. He joined a much bigger club a little later in the story, so we'll get to that in a bit. But look for Jacob. Jacob is also really good academically, and so is Jacob Cole. So both of those boys went to semi-state. Both are close to the top of their class. Again, we emphasize academics, so look for both of them to make an awesome run next year in the classroom and on the mat. Let's get to Noah a little bit now. Friday night, you have to win Friday night to place. We've never had a placer at Rossville. He went out, made quick work of the guy, pinned him to become the first medalist at Rossville. So that was a really big deal. That was Friday. Saturday rolls around and it got a little better. He won his next 2 matches. One was tough. The first one was against the number 2 ranked guy in the state, and he beat him pretty easily. The second one, he pinned the guy to get to the finals. In the finals, he had the number 1 ranked guy in the state, nationally ranked kid, and Noah got it done bringing the state championship home. So, yeah. Very, very cool. One thing I didn't realize going through the whole thing was he didn't give up an offensive point all year until the final match. So he ended up 50-0. Finally allowed to take down in the final match, which is about as dominant as you could possibly be. He broke the school record for most wins in a season, winning percentage in a season pins, and he almost broke his own takedown record from last year. So, incredible year. We're extremely proud of the program and the success we've had this year, and we look forward to a lot of success coming up. This isn't going to be the last time you see us up here, so thank you.
Okay, next is public comment. As a reminder, this meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting school corporation business. This meeting is not to be considered a public community meeting. The handout of the agenda items about to be presented by the board are available at the sign-in table for everyone to review. The registration form is presented at the sign-in table for patrons desiring the opportunity to speak at the beginning of the meeting. On any agenda items, registration is required if you desire to speak. If anyone hasn't turned in a registration form to address the board, please do so at this time. Mandy, back to front here. Board established the specific rules to guide the presiding officer. Those rules were outlined on the registration form and will be followed. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer, that's me, and must preface their comments by announcing their name, address, and the organization representative if applicable. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration or as determined by the presiding officer. The presiding officer may limit the total time allotment for comments. We normally have a limit of 30 minutes for public comment. I do have 11 folks who have requested to speak tonight. That could be 33, but we're going to roll with that. So we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to speak. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic. There are a couple folks, by the way, who have, on their form, have checked multiple boxes. We don't have the ability to give you multiple times to speak, but when I call your name and for your speak on any and all of the topics that you have checked on your form. That's how that works. So, all statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. The board is willing to hear comments at this meeting. The board will listen but may not respond to questions or inquiries. No person may speak or discuss at any meeting of the Board of Education any charges or complaints against employees of the school district that first presenting such charges or complaints to the Board of Education through the superintendent in writing, signed and verified by the person or group making such a charge or complaint. If the complaint is about the superintendent, it should be forwarded to the president of the Board of Education. The presiding officer may terminate any person's privilege of address for persistent violations of the rules of conduct and declare that person out of order for above violations of rules. The presiding officer will now call upon those registered for general comments. The board will pause at each agenda group to take comments on those agenda items. So I've got 8 people who checked public comment. Some of those, again, have multiple checks. I'll be calling on those first. And then I've got 3 people that check a specific item that's in our agenda. So after we do the public comment, then we'll start into the meeting, and we will pause before we make motions on those agenda items if someone has asked to speak specifically on those agenda items. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. So just because I didn't call on your name in the first round, it's probably because you checked something that'll be later in the meeting for you to speak on. So, all right, with that, the first name I will call is Paul, I believe it's Landis. So if you can come up to the microphone, please. Thank you.
I'm short, so. Paul Landis, I represent myself. And I'm a freshman here, and I'm hoping to have another student attend Rossville next year as we live in West Lafayette, my transfer students. So, clock's ticking, it's awesome. I have 1 request, 3 thoughts, and hopefully an encouragement in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. That's my way of joking. But my request is probably not a shock to the members of the board, but I'm requesting that this board does everything within its power to continue the employment and leadership of Mr. Thompson here at Rossville. That's my request, my 3 points, 3 thoughts on that I would encourage you to consider. First is just the fact that how well that Mr. Thompson represents the values that I hold, the values of the community. I'm not advocating for a friend or someone I respect. All those are both true. I'm advocating for the community and for my sons who will attend here in the future. One of the major reasons why we're sending our students 35 minutes from our home is because we value what this school represents and what Mr. Thompson has indicated that his leadership is in that direction. So that's my first thought. My second thought for you is that I also think the continuation of his employment is something that the community would benefit from, in the sense that there is some disparity on the thoughts as to why he is moving towards retirement. And I would encourage you, I think that you've communicated me very well that you want to be above reproach. I appreciate that. But there's also the idea of the appearance of being above reproach. And the actions that you take have ramifications on the community in the sense of that. So I respect that you will do what you think is right. I want you to, but I also want you to consider the idea that there's an appearance associated with that as well. The third thing, ticking down 57 seconds, is I do think that Mr. Thompson, from my living experience and from I know the man, has done a good job here in the past 5 years, and it would be nice for him to see the fruits of that as he continues into the future for the next year or 2 as he desires. And then that would lead me into my encouragement for you. That would take some challenge. To bring a resolution of differences is difficult, and when I was in high school applying for a college that I wanted to get into, and it's interesting, I remember this, I'm old. The teacher introduced me to a quote by Edmund Burke, who was a statesman from Great Britain, and he said, "The only thing necessary for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing." And I do think Mr. Thompson has embodied that. That's not my thought. My thought is for you, what action do you take that would continue what I think is a good thing here at Rossville? So thank you for consideration. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, next I've got Kim Becker, I believe? Baker? Sorry.
Hi, my name is Kim Baker, and I have been a nurse since 1980. I come with many types of experience. I was a floor nurse. I worked with the elderly. I was a school nurse for about 7 years in the Brownsburg schools. I worked in an operating room. I helped a doctor start an operating unit in his fertility office. I know many things about nursing, but there is more things I don't know. I can't know them all. The thing that is most important to me is to know where to look for the answers. And in school nursing, that usually is you guys, the children's parents. We do not call you for every little thing, but it is the unusual or the things that seem important to us that we call you on. We send you slips of paper home with the pre-K through 5th grade students so you can know what is happening with your child. The students in the 6th grade through 12th grade do not get those slips because they are old enough to communicate with you. I know one parent questioned our ability to treat adverse reactions to vaccinations, even called us incompetent. That is not true. The vaccination clinic was set up for the convenience of the parents to get vaccinations. The only part in the clinic that was ours was to set it up and help with registration. The Clinton County Health Department runs the clinic and watches the students for side effects, but most side reactions will occur 24 hours after the vaccinations are given, and you as the parents will be treating them. And those won't be actual reactions, they will be side effects such as fevers, aches, and pains. Rarely are there more severe reactions, which we are very capable of managing until they can be transported to a hospital. The 4 nurses who are currently working for Rossville schools are quite capable to care for any student who would have an reaction. As an example, last year, and I was not working here at that time, called me in Brownsburg from the school parking lot. Her son was having breathing difficulties and was questioning whether he needed his EpiPen. I could not see him, but I knew Rossville had a school nurse. I had my daughter go get her to check on my grandson. He was young, and I wanted to be sure he wasn't just panicking. She found his oxygen saturation was in the 80%, and it should have been 90 to 100%. She gave him his EpiPen and offered to call the ambulance, but my daughter and I decided rather than waiting 30 minutes or longer for an ambulance, which that's how long it takes to get to Rossville, she would drive him to the ER. Kayla was totally on top of it and able to handle it. She did a great job, so you do have a great nurse there. None of us are doing this job for the money. I make a little over $19 an hour, and I can go to a nursing home here in Rossville and make $30 an hour. I can go to Arnett and make even more. I enjoy it.
Our time's running out here, so
Matt, if it's okay, it's just 3 sentences.
I'm gonna have to apologize,
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry, so thank you.
It's the top, maybe. It's the top right there.
Okay, next I have Amanda Paget.
Hello, my name is Amanda Paget, and I'm the proud mom to 3 Rossville students, 1 middle school student and 2 elementary students. I've also been an employee here at Rossville for 5.5 years, and I'm currently pursuing my teaching certificate by student teaching here at Rossville, and I pray I secure a job at this beloved school of ours in the near future. I want to start by saying to the board, this parent group does not represent me, nor hundreds of other parents of Rossville school kids. My family calls this school and the people inside of it home. This group and their agenda are attacking my home, and I and many other parents and hardworking staff members do not appreciate these attacks on a place we love. Second, we are a public school. The things that this group are demanding of all of you are more of the things you see in a private school or homeschool setting. The things that they are demanding this governing body tell them are not in their rights to know. I have been an employee for 5.5 years, and I don't even know the answers to most of the questions they are demanding answers to. And guess what? I'm okay with that. Why? Because I'm a mature adult and realize it's not my right to know everything that occurs, even at my children's school, because it's not my job. The people in these positions have been elected to be in the positions they are in, and I trust their judgment in the happenings in this school. There are things, no matter how hard this group pushes or how hard they pry, that they are never, ever going to get the answers to because they are simply not their business. I pray they take my advice, pray about it, and let it go. Speaking of that, their agenda. Anyone who reads their rhetoric and propaganda can see what their real purposes are in their questioning of the authority of the school. So I must ask, why are they attacking other parts of the school that have nothing to do with what they're really concerned about? People like them drove out the last amazing nurse we had, and I won't allow them to bully another quality, loving, giving, generous, overly competent head nurse and her staff out of the office she so lovingly leads every single day. I would love to ask them this: with all of the concerns they have any of them attempted to call Nurse Kayla about any of their concerns to get clarification? Or have they just attacked her name in the attempt to scare her away? This is not the way to solve anything. I, however, do have one way to give them peace of mind. Come volunteer. If you want to spend just one day in the halls of the school, you will see a beautiful, well-oiled machine that bonus has people in it that pray over the halls of the school on the way to early morning meetings or on their way to make copies at 7 a.m. Or they'd see people loving on and becoming the kids' confidants, building lifelong relationships. Or they'd see the fun administration that enjoys every single kiddo that comes through those doors. Or the very competent nursing staff that goes above and beyond the call of duty every day. They'd see a slew of quality teachers that pour into the lives of their students. They'd see a building that's incredibly secure. I want to say to this group, please stop it. Stop hiding behind the computer screens, Facebook posts, phone calls, and nameless pamphlets and mailboxes, and come join us in the amazing place that is the Rossville
I'm going to have to
Schools.
stop you there, I'm sorry.
We desperately need the subs.
Thank you. Next I have Tony Bloomkey.
I'm on short list too. So hi, I'm Tony Bookby. I live here in Rossville and I'm one of the school nurses. I want to speak to you because I feel like my character and my integrity are being assassinated. Recently in public meetings and on social media, and frankly, I don't appreciate it. I really don't understand why the school nurses are being attacked. We give really good care, and I would proudly stand in any court of law and defend the care that I give. I have no fear of that whatsoever. I have lived in this community my entire life. I have never seen such vicious attacks that are completely unfounded. All of these accusations are without merit. A smidgen of truth, but not full stories. Hearsay, rumors, and mostly untruths. What they call shock and awe, but at our expense. My heart is hurting because I love this job. I love these kids, but the last few weeks I have not loved my job. Not only is my heart hurting from these vicious attacks, but there are three of us. We are people with feelings. We live in a community, and these are painful things that people are saying. Not only our hearts, but we have family, we have children, we have grandchildren, we have friends whose hearts are also hurting. And I would be glad to speak to any parent who has any concern about any care that we are giving their child, any parent or guardian. I will only speak to that child's parent or guardian. I am a Rossville High School graduate. My father graduated from Rossville High School. He was a founding member of the Rossville School Foundation. I have two brothers who graduated from Rossville. I have 4 children who graduated from Rossville. Our names are out there on the honor courtyard, on the pavers. My family has lived in this community for more than 100 years. I know many of you, and many of you know me. And I am saddened that those of you who know me and would believe this propaganda that is being spread. I am sad that this is the state of affairs of our community. I would like you to know what I bring to the table. I have a bachelor's degree in nursing from Purdue, a master's from Indiana Wesleyan. I have 30 plus years working in a hospital, 3 years in patient pediatric care. I have been an EMT, a CPR instructor trainer. I have taught CPR over the years. I am just asking, I am pleading again that this would stop. This viciousness needs to stop. This is not what Rossville is about. And I believe that you are all lucky to have us 4 nurses here.
Next I have Kim Prager.
My name is Kim Prager. I'm in the Rossville School District. I'll be addressing the board this evening, not the audience. Many of you enjoyed reading things and opinions by Julie Slavens, who is the Senior Counsel and Director of Policy Services at our ISBA. We've been asking a lot of questions and many times are met with the answer that it's a personnel issue. Well, recently the Indiana Supreme Court ruled on the scope of the provision in the Access Public Records Law that requires the disclosure of factual basis for disciplinary action resulting in an employee suspension, demotion, or dismissal. In this case, a school corporation, Hamilton Southeastern Schools, suspended a teacher without pay for 5 days. The local TV station, WTHR, requested the factual basis for the unpaid suspension. The school corporation responded with a written compilation stating that the teacher was suspended due to not implementing instructions for classroom management strategies consistent with board policy. The TV station sued the school corporation, claiming the response did not comply with the requirement for Indiana Code 514.34b8 to provide a factual basis for the suspension. The lawsuit also requested the release of supporting documents from the employee's personnel file. The court ruled that the school corporation did not provide sufficient facts to determine what the employee did to merit being disciplined. The court focused on the term factual basis in the statute. The statute does not define this term, so the court referred to the dictionary definition and adopted the plain meaning of the term as a fact-based account of what led to the discipline. For guidance as what this means, the court looked at other state laws requiring a factual basis for an action, namely the criminal code. The court, after reviewing what it was required for factual basis in a criminal case, determined for an employee discipline, it means facts sufficient for a reasonable person to understand what an employee did to deserve discipline. According to the unanimous opinion written by Justice Mark Massa, a school corporation does not have to provide every intricate detail about what caused it to discipline an employee, but it must provide some facts about the employee's actions. The court went on to rule that a school corporation cannot satisfy the factual basis standard by providing a bald conclusion, which the court concluded that the school corporation did in this case. The opinion also found that a school corporation is not required to provide documents from an employee's personal file, only specific information. The school corporation may compile the requested information in a new document and provide it to the requester of the information.
Thank you. Jackie? Motion?
Good job. Oh,
Thank you.
good evening. I'm short. Hold on. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start off this evening by saying that you have an incredibly competent lead nurse who has no policies, procedures, or authority to run the student clinic with the autonomy within the bounds of her practice. This includes her ability to advocate for the safety of who should be at the forefront of this body's decision-making, which is our children. Last I spoke with the board president on 2/18. At that time, we discussed that this body had concerns over the creation of a special advisory committee and that would not be protected under the board's legal umbrella. I'm here today to advise you that there's significant case law as well as a published opinion by the Indiana Public Access Counselor that opines that special committees to a board are considered the direct arm of the school board itself, are protected, and act only in an advisory capacity to achieve a directed goal. The other concern was protecting FERPA in regards to student records. And as I spoke with Mr. Hufford at that time, I clarified the goal of what was being requested in the form of the special committee would be to not look into who has access to student records. Those are protected. What would it be looking into was creating policies and procedures in relation to the nurse's office that would allow them to act and have actual policies and procedures in place. This district has an entire section of policies and procedures in relation to our SROs, but none for our nurses. Many districts in our regions have extensive policies and procedures that align with standard nursing practice. And I'm here today to ask the board for their final decision on creating that special committee. Has there been a final decision made on that at all?
We're not going to answer questions, as I stated earlier. Thank you.
Okay. So I do have that public access counselor's opinion, if any of you should want it. I do want to state that it's been brought up a couple of times that has anyone called, attempted to call, worked with the nursing office? I have. I've worked with the nursing office. I've worked with Dr. Hannah. I've worked with members of this body. And there were significant concerns, like my child had a legitimate concern. My child was legitimately injured. There were legitimate concerns in regards of falsification of documentation within that office. And as I said, you have an incredibly competent lead nurse. Give her the autonomy and authority to run the clinic appropriately. She cannot do that. She cannot protect our students with how things are currently. The 848 IAC is better known as the Nurse Practice Act in Indiana. And if you take a look at it, it very clearly defines that you cannot falsify records. It's unprofessional conduct, and it's cause for immediate action. And I've come to you for almost 6 months now, simply looking for solutions. And if your answer is going to be no, then I'm going to have to search for solutions elsewhere. And I don't want to do that.
Thank you. Next I have Nicole McDonald.
Good evening, Nicole McDonald, 6360 North County Road 600 West in Mulberry. Tonight I would like to address you 5 board members solely. When we started this adventure, if you want to call it that, 6 months ago, many parents' main concern was getting our principal back in the school building and allowing him to fulfill his contract through 2025 and beyond if he so chooses. But since then, so many other huge concerns have come to light. I know you are all good people with your own hearts and minds, so you can understand why it would be very alarming to some members of the community when we realize that there is only one person calling the shots. It has become very apparent that you are not allowed to use your own hearts and minds to make decisions for our school, for our children and the school, and that is the definition of a dictator in its purest form. You are elected officials, elected by the community to be our voice for Rossville schools. We have asked you all many times to hear us, not just listen to us, hear us. There has been no give and take. In fact, you've dug your heels in even deeper because this is what you've been told to do. A perfect example would be at the last board meeting when the subject of teacher professional development time came up. And let me be clear, we all support this time for the teachers, and why wouldn't we? Because it impacts our children in a positive way. What we did want to explore were some different options other than a 2-hour delay, one Monday every month. This isn't going to affect you or your families because you have older children who can drive or who you have more flexible jobs. But it will most definitely affect shift workers and single-parent households. The vast majority of parents have no idea that this is even being voted on as policy. What would be so wrong with sending home a survey like you did for Eclipse Day with every student and allowing parents to have a voice in something that will impact them? This, along with many other items have surfaced along the way, is the reason why we know we are not being heard. You discussed how you will vote behind closed doors when this discussion should be happening at a public meeting. I'm asking you to start representing the community that elected most of you to your seats. You all took an oath to maintain an awareness of community, values, concerns, and interests. Please utilize your own hearts and minds when making decisions for parents, students, and the entire administration instead of rubber stamping everything that is put before you by one single person. Thank you.
This is Taylor Mink.
All right. Hi everybody, my name is Taylor Mink and I'm the K-1 special education teacher here. I have been a Hornet my entire life. I started here in 1999 in Alicia Mash's room. That used to be Krista Carlo's room. My husband went to school here. My children go to school here. We have several family members that have gone to school here. We obviously love and believe in our school district. There are a couple of things that I would like to address as a parent and a staff member. I would like to speak on the 2-hour delay proposal. I personally am a part of several committees in the elementary school. I am on the PBIS committee and the AR committee. These committees meet once a month for 20 minutes in the morning. I'm also a part of the special education team who meets weekly at problem-solving meetings before school to discuss at-risk students. Once again, a 20-minute meeting. I say 20 minutes because we are contracted to arrive at school at 7:35, and students come into classrooms when the first bell rings at 7:55. I've seen several people say we have 30 minutes before school, and I would like to clarify that. Do you seriously think that we get that much done in 20 minutes? For example, our PBIS meeting had to be 2 meetings in the month of February because we were able to only discuss a little bit of what we wanted to discuss on data and what we needed to attempt to fix in our school-wide system. As teachers, we want the very best for our school and for our students. Drive by the school any evening or even during the weekends, and I guarantee that you will see cars of teachers and other staff members working outside of their contracted hours, unpaid, to make sure your student succeeds. By giving teachers extra paid time without students present, we could complete these necessary tasks to better prepare our students for success. I also understand from a parent point of view. I have 2 small children that come to school here. I know that I would be having to find out a solution for that, but I also know that by approving this teacher time, my children will be getting a better education and making our schools better. I encourage you to look into this option or other options that may be available to give us the time that we desperately need. I would also like to quickly speak on the vaccination clinics. This is a wonderful opportunity for students and families. The Clinton County Health Department is responsible for this clinic, not the nurse's office. The arguments that I have seen against this have changed several times. First, it was anti-vaccination. Then it changed to targeting unvaccinated children. Then it became a problem with the nurses supposedly not being competent enough to handle reactions. Then it became about putting extra work on the teachers. I have a few things to say about that. The health department is not targeting unvaccinated children. Parental consent would have to be given in order for children to receive vaccinations. In all my years at Rossville, not once have I seen any medical professional running down the halls and stabbing kids with vaccinations without parent knowledge. This is a wonderful opportunity for parents that are not able to take time off of work to get them to the doctor. Also, the $1,000 incentive would be great for supporting our medical needs at the school. I'm also pretty sure that the nurses are very competent to handle any reaction, and please do not speak on the teachers. If I have a student that needs a vaccination, I am more than happy to sit and watch for a reaction.
I've got to stop you there.
Thank you.
That's all the folks I have for public comment. I have 3 other folks who have asked to speak about specific items, and I'll call those when we get to those items.
So the first item on the agenda is consideration of claims and payroll. It's from in the minutes. The minutes were from February 6, 2024, regular session. Board members received claim docket payroll claims in the minutes in advance of the meeting. The fund and balance report were also supplied to the board for review.
I move to approve the minutes, claims, payroll, as presented.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes, claims, and payrolls as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is old business. Miscellaneous items, consideration of the memorandum of understanding. Clinton County Health Department is desiring to enter into agreement with county schools to assist families in receiving required immunizations. The work with the health department immunization staff to plan and host an open house at open house and registration, immunization records forecasting event for the building corporation. To plan and host at least one mobile in-school immunization event in cooperation with the health department that occurs during regular school hours for students who need immunization during the school year. Parents have the option of whether or not they want to utilize the service. Also, the health department would submit, or the school could submit up to $1,000 in reimbursable nurses expenses per campus for by June of 2024, and then the district administration and the staff appreciate this offer. I also have with us this evening Rodney Wan, who's with Clinton County Health Department, and Dana Longnecker. If you want to speak very quickly about this. And Rodney, if you would, give us your title and same thing, Dana.
Okay. My name is Rodney Wan. I'm the Executive Administrator of the Clinton County Health Department, located at 1234 Rossville Avenue in Frankfort, Indiana. Appreciate the opportunity to speak for a few minutes to you. I'll leave the majority of this to Dana. What I will say is this is an initiative we've been piloting for over 2 years now with all school corporations within Clinton County, under the guidance and the instructions of the State Department of Health. We currently have new funding that has come in for the next 2 years, and of that funding, part of that is to start to provide core services that we haven't been able to do in the past. 2 of those core services we're focusing on with this initiative are immunizations and immunization rates and school health for students. It was our opportunity to braid those 2 services together, also address some of the issues that we have seen from liaisoning with school nurses for years now. Many jobs they have to do, many expenses they have to cover, and we're trying to build this into all the school programs to be able to cover some of those medical expenses. So I'll let Dana speak to the pragmatics of all of it.
Hi, I'm Dana Longnecker. I'm the Clinton County Public Health Nurse. I'm also a Rossville school parent since 2004 and still going strong. We did this initiative to do more outreach. I am public health. I am there to get these needs met, whether it's mobile dentistry, we have to do outreach. Unfortunately, there are not parents who have transportation, can miss work, sometimes even necessarily they will not miss. So what we came up with, as Rodney said, it's a consent packet. Nobody is made to do these vaccinations. If you are not enrolled in CHIRP, you will not be targeted. If you have an exemption, again, you will not be. This is it's elective. The Department of Education requires these. Yes, you can get exemptions. We respect that. But we also respect that there's some kids that need these vaccinations. With outbreak of measles here recently throughout the country, we need to provide this opportunity for everyone. And as they said, the monies would go towards maybe special needs kids, equipment for asthmatics, anything that those county schools need. So I hope you consider this, as we would like to be a part and provide these needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a side note, those 2 speakers were invited guests of the board, so if anybody has any question on why the timer was not there, they didn't ask to speak, we asked them to speak. And I think we've got a couple other folks this evening who will be doing the same thing, so just to clarify.
The next item under old business, consideration of authorization submission of a HEA 1003 flexibility waiver resolution. Rossville Schools is partnered with Equitable Education Solutions to develop and implement a 3-year learning prioritization plan. Our improvement plan zeroes in on 3 key priority areas crucial to addressing our students' needs. One key area involves establishing a K-12 system of collaboration and data, informed instruction embedded in the enhanced learner focused culture. The district explicitly states its commitment to granting teachers and administrators dedicated time to implement these professional learning communities that foster horizontal and vertical collaboration across the entire school corporation. Therefore, we're requesting a waiver for 120 minutes or 2 hours for 1 day per month for 7 months. This is 7 months will be September, October, November, December, February, March, and April. They're highlighted on the calendar, the specific dates. The way this came about was a large group discussion with all the staff, and we did our original KPA discussion. That time was needed, and then it got refined. If you recall the last meeting, I asked for a total of 9, and I indicated we'd probably need 8. KPA 3, which is a group that I have 2 members here to talk about, refined it down to those 7 meetings. We would use a full day staff development day in August, in January, and in May to address those issues as well. And with that, I'd like to ask Amy Goris and Kate Washburn to come up. They are serving on KPA 3 committee, and they can talk a little bit more about the needs.
Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I just want to add to the long list that we've already heard. I'm also a Rossville grad, I am also a Rossville parent, and I am also the Rossville Classroom Teachers Association president. So I am approaching this from that perspective as well. I am advocating for this proposal that benefits our teachers and enriches the educational experience of our students. This proposal for the 2-hour delay once a month to facilitate collaboration among our staff.
It is no secret that the success at Rossville Schools hinges upon the expertise, dedication, and unity of our educators and our community. The responsibility of educating the next generation cannot be carried out in isolation. Collaboration among educators is not just beneficial, it is essential. We have a unique opportunity with kindergarten through 12th grade in one building. We can collaborate and prepare our instruction across the grades, but we need the opportunity to do this within our compensated time. The proposal for a monthly 2-hour delay is not born out of convenience or luxury, but out of necessity. Education is changing, and with it, the complexity of our roles as educators. The standards and expectations are constantly evolving at the state level. We must provide our teachers with the time they need to stay in line with these changes within their contracted school hours. The 2-hour delay proposal is a strategic investment in our community by supporting the development of our teachers. It offers us the opportunity to engage in meaningful collaboration, share best practices, discuss challenges, and brainstorm innovative solutions, all of which ultimately translate into enhanced student learning outcomes. These strategies cannot be created in 30-minute sessions or in one-on-one conversations in the hallway. They are across all grade levels and all content areas. This proposal is the result of consultation among all stakeholders, administrators, teachers, students, and families. It is a balanced approach that takes into account the needs and concerns of both educators and families. By scheduling these delays once a month ahead of time, we strike a harmonious balance between providing teachers with the time they need for collaboration while minimizing disruptions to the routines of our families. In supporting this proposal, we are reaffirming our commitment to academic excellence and student success here at Rossville. We have an opportunity before us to foster a culture of collaboration, innovation, and continuous improvement within our community, a culture that will enrich the educational experiences of our students and prepare them for the challenges of tomorrow. Our goal is to make ready the next generation in our community. The goal is not a daycare service, the goal is education. In conclusion, I ask members of the school board to consider the immense value that a monthly 2-hour delay for teacher collaboration will bring to our educational system. Let us seize this opportunity to empower our teachers, elevate our standards of excellence, and ensure the success of every student who walks through the doors of our schools. And I will turn it over to Amy.
She is way more eloquent than I am. And if you know anything about me, I do not stand still. I am an elementary educator. I am animated, so get ready, okay? All right, so my name is Amy Goris. I have been teaching for 14 years. I am part of a generation that has gone to Rossville for almost 100 years now. I do not take this lightly. I was asked to be a KPA. For those of you who don't know what that means, it is Key Priority Areas. That's important for our school. That is the learning basis for our school. And I was in charge, along with Kate, to kind of help be a facilitator and a voice for our committee and help lead them and hear what they have to say. So basically what we're driven to do is K through 12. We have to have common goals. Many parents have, including myself, have voiced a concern about when they leave elementary, my baby, right, is having a hard time in 6th grade. Or when my baby leaves 8th grade, they're having a hard time when they go into high school. This part of the committee is what we are wanting to fix. It is pieces like that we are needing to put together. And I'm facing you guys because I want to break this down for parents a little bit more, because the educator in me is afraid that maybe we're not understanding this. And board, this is for you as well, but I know you've had time to mull this over. I know you've gotten all the documents about KPA. This has not been just a light thing. For 2 years, we've been doing surveys and interviews, and people have been coming to our school to basically investigate us and see where we're lacking. And overall, for the past several years, one of the number one things is, other than our launch for STEM, our launch for this science of reading, which is very important, our biggest thing is the K through 12 collaboration. So what this means is questions like this. Are we, as a staff, using data to drive our instruction? Okay, so this isn't, I love the novel Tuck Everlasting. It's my favorite. I want all my kids to know this piece of literature. No, that is a tool that we are teaching so that they can be competent, so that they can be educated, so that they can go outside of Rossville schools and make a difference. That is a piece of what it's going to take. Are we using our standards? Are we following Indiana State standards? Pre-K all the way up to 12th grade. Are we able to get and meet with our K through, with our teams? Grade levels, are they given time to talk? 4th grade, we have to do what's called a lunch, an eat and a work, a real quick. We get 15 minutes. Hey, what lesson are you on in math? We need more time. Are we using common vocabulary, expectations? When I'm saying partial products, parents, you're looking at me like it's a foreign language. Are we using that common language all the way up? We want to fix that for you. We want to fix that for our kids. What type of instruction or behavioral strategies are we using throughout the district to lessen detentions and suspensions? What is our behavior system? K through 12. Is it working? What do we need to fix? I know I have some former students that are like talking about me right now. You already know this is how I teach. Okay. Being under one roof, K through 12, puts our school in a different it puts us in a different ballpark. Teachers need to be meeting with grade levels below them and above them. For non-educators, that is called vertical alignment. When they go from 6th grade to 7th grade, is there a nice transition? Okay, through all those different stair steps of grades. We also need to be talking with subject areas or our grade level. That's called horizontal alignment. Okay, so that means, am I talking with other 4th grade teachers? Are we on the same page? Are we hitting the same standards? So, in order for our school to meet those K through 12, we need to see that vertical alignment. We need to see that horizontal alignment. If I'm a 6th grade science teacher, I have to meet with other 6th grade teachers. English, math, but I also need to be meeting with the science department. I can't meet with both of them at the same time. We need common time, K through 12, to be able to meet. So, we have done, in the years past, if you really think back, we've done a 2-hour delay, early dismissal before. Okay, I'm already going past the whole 30 minutes isn't enough time. 30 minutes isn't enough time. Just take my word for it. I'm the expert. I'm an educator. Okay, so 30 minutes, 40 minutes, by the time we get our computers, get our things, sit down, start the meeting's over. 2 hours, we gotta have 2 hours. We have launched it. We, Mr. Dennison, Dr. Dennison, we've got to pilot some of these options before. We've done PD sessions where we've had subs come into our room. We tried 45 minutes, the most recent one. By the time I got into that room, I was a hot mess because somebody needed a Band-Aid before I left, or somebody had a shoe off, whatever it was, and to try to focus and get that done. We also don't have enough subs to even cover our classrooms. So even trying to get something done in 30 minutes, 2 hours, we don't even have enough to get that done. So we, as educators, proposed a 2-hour delay. And we asked that man over there if he could help be our voice for this. So, with that being said, we feel that the 2-hour delay before school will be better for educators, will be better for parents. I'm a parent too. I got to get 3 kids ready in the morning by myself. Using a 2-hour delay at the afternoon, dismissing at 1 o'clock, means some kids are going home for 2 hours and they have to be right back at school for practice. So we figured it would be easier to do the morning time where, just like if Dr. Hannah called a 2-hour delay, we're hoping parents having plenty of time, months in advance to plan, oh, this is the day. We also tried to make it on the same day, at the same time. I don't know if you noticed that on the calendar. It's always on a Wednesday, and it's always 2 days. It's very consistent. So, with that being said, my more eloquent thing since I went off my speech is to make things more meaningful for our 2-hour delay schedule. Please, board, consider this. Our KPA 3 is excited to get this opportunity to collaborate with our teams in various grade levels like never before. Therefore, teachers are strongly suggesting that the board passes this proposed 2024-25 school calendar that was presented to you to allow educators the time to properly analyze data, focus their attention on strengthening academics, and while being compensated for our efforts, because we're not going to be staying past 3:15, because we're not going to be getting paid for that. We already do that. Ask my kids how long. When people call me, or they're, what are you doing? Grading. What are you doing? Sitting on my couch grading. Please don't make us stay after school and do it.